You know the biggest excuse we all make, right? I just don't have enough time. Well, what if that's a lie? We're about to dive into a new book that completely tears that idea apart and shows you how to master your focus and, yes, own every single hour.
All right, let's get right into it. Welcome to an exclusive deep dive into Chapter 4 of The Discipline of Time. This is the groundbreaking new book by Terence Shadwell, and you can grab it right now on Amazon. Together, we're going to discover the principles, the mindset, and the mastery that will totally redefine how you think about time.
So how do we finally stop making that excuse? You know, the book makes this brilliant point. People who achieve incredible things don't have a secret 25th hour in their day. Nope, they operate on a totally different principle. And it's right there. Winning isn't an accident. It's a system. It's deliberate.
Okay, so if winning is a system, where do we look for a blueprint? Well, the book points us to an absolute icon of relentless, structured discipline, the one and only Bruce Lee. You see, what made Bruce Lee so revolutionary was his understanding that just being physically gifted, well, that was a dead end. It wasn't enough. Real mastery, true mastery, came from what the book calls holistic growth. This means he devoted time not just to his body, but to philosophy, to psychology, to strategy. Think about that. He wasn't just honing a single skill. He was building a complete system for success.
And this right here perfectly captures his entire mindset. For him, obstacles weren't roadblocks. They were just opportunities to shift your focus. I mean, get this. When a devastating back injury left him bedridden for months, he didn't see it as wasted time. Not at all. He just traded physical training for mental training. He used that time to study, to write, and to refine the very philosophy that would define his legacy. He proved that even when your body is forced to stop, your mind can keep charging forward.
So, Bruce Lee really shows us the raw power of daily discipline. But how does that scale up? How do you turn that into a long-term vision that builds an empire? For that, the book introduces us to Aliko Dangote, Africa's richest man, who absolutely mastered a related but different skill, strategic patience.
And this is such a critical distinction. The book just nails the difference between urgency and impatience. See, Dangote acted with urgency on everything he could control day to day, but he was never impatient for the big results. Think about it. Building a massive factory takes years. Someone who's impatient sees that as just wasted time, right? But someone with a strategy, they use that waiting period to network, to refine their systems, to prepare. So the moment those doors open, they're already miles ahead of the competition.
Honestly, his playbook was so simple but unbelievably powerful. While other people were celebrating their early wins, buying fancy cars and houses, Dangote reinvested everything. Every single penny went back into the business. He was thinking in decades but working in days. And that approach, seeing time as an investment that literally compounds, well, that's what turned a small loan into a multi-billion-dollar empire.
All right, so we've looked at the long game. Now let's zoom right back in to the power of the daily grind. The book brings up two amazing innovators here, Coco Chanel and Isabel Allende. What's fascinating is that they built their legacies not on some grand, one-off gesture, but on the simple, relentless power of routine. And this is just a fantastic breakdown of how routine actually creates genius. You've got Chanel, who streamlined her entire process, cutting away all the complexity for that practical elegance she became famous for. And then there's Allende, who created this incredibly powerful starting ritual. She begins every single book on the exact same day, January 8th. Wild, right? But they both understood something critical. You don't just sit around and wait for motivation to strike. You build a structure that creates it. Their stories are proof that genius isn't just about having brilliant ideas. It's about having the discipline to show up and do the work, day in and day out.
Okay, so we've seen how the masters of discipline, vision, and routine operate. But now the book pivots, and it puts the spotlight directly on you, on me, on us. This is where it gets really personal.
Let's just do some quick math here. Say you work about 7 hours, sleep about 7. We'll add another 2 for meals and commuting. What does that leave? That leaves 8 full hours every single day. 8 hours. And that's when the book hits you with a really tough question. Where are they going?
And this is the question we all have to answer honestly. Is that time being invested, or is it just disappearing into thin air? Are you building something with it, learning a new skill, moving towards a goal, or is it just getting sucked away by mindless scrolling, by that busy work that feels productive but when you look back, accomplishes absolutely nothing? This right here is the core challenge of the whole book.
So what do you do about it? Well, the great thing is the book doesn't just leave you hanging with the problem. It gives you a clear, straightforward action plan. And listen, it's not about some massive overnight life transformation. It's about structuring your time with purpose, just like Lee. It's about turning setbacks into opportunities, cutting out all the noise and distractions, and most importantly, just staying consistent.
Because ultimately, it really just comes down to this. Those 8 hours, they're there. Every single day. They can either vanish without a trace, or they can be the foundation you use to build something truly extraordinary. The message of this book is so simple, but so powerful. The time is yours. All you have to do is begin.
So if you want to learn more, and I really think you should, get your copy of The Discipline of Time today. It's available on Amazon in hardcover, paperback, and ebook editions.
And make sure you stay connected with Terry Shadwell at his website, terryshadwell.com. You can also join the conversation on YouTube, Spotify, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram for a ton more insights, talks, and inspiration.
Thanks so much for diving into this with me. Now go make those hours count.